crazy thing is, I just pulled it off my shelf.
Yeah.
Because I've got a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of things on the bookshelf. I haven't fired it up in a really long time, but my Razer Phone 2,
Mm.
86% battery life, and I don't think I've booted it up in almost a year.
And it's still didn't, and no more updates, right? Because mine stopped getting
Oh, no,
updates
no
a
more
while back.
updates, but
Yeah, yeah.
more. I'm just saying, like, we've been
It still
concerned
has battery.
about
It still has
some of
battery
the
life.
older phones that are like battery puffing and like
Oh, not
falling
even older
apart.
phones. Was it Evan Blast's no the Z Fold 4? The Z
Yeah,
Fold
battery puffed.
4. That puffed.
But
I'm worried on a foldable.
this phone is proving to be like one of the all-time best constructed
Absolutely.
high performance phones that's ever been made. Oh, well, hello everybody.
We're
Welcome to
gonna
another episode of Best of Our Week, where two old nerds geek out on
on
fun gadgets and stuff. I just
absolutely.
gotta I needed a trip down memory lane, and I fire up my Razer Phone
Devices.
2, and it's so pretty. This is still
Oh no, no!
such a nice
To
phone.
this day, the
Ah, it's so
design
good.
ever since the original Nextbit Robin, even when the first generation, the second
Thank you.
generation, gaming phone from Razer, and I'm really sad that
Hmm.
we don't have a new. Well, we never had a sequel. So in Razer Phone 2,
Yeah.
the one that we have, we both still have our devices. Is basically a classic. It was supposed to be part of Project Linda. That was also another concept that they put together, but
Hmm.
that kind of fizzed away. But I think the reason why Juan's having some nostalgic power going on is we just literally, I mean, was it yesterday or was it today that Razer just finally what's it called, launched the brand new Razer Edge, that
Yeah.
that gaming device. I mean, I'll say this, I've been waiting to get one since like November of last year. Heck, even
Yeah.
November of the year before, when I first saw the demo concept between Razer and Qualcomm showing us the G3X,
Hmm.
and so I'm really excited to see how they're able to make this fully functional. I've played with it for a little bit. I haven't had a chance to actually go fully enjoy using it. It has a lot of unique features that is supposed to be very good for gaming. Cooling is definitely much better. The G3X, of course, an ecosystem, and the epic that is Razer Chroma.
The ultimate Android
Android
gaming
gaming.
handheld.
Yes, with 5G
Snapdragon
and Snapdragon.
G3X Gen
I don't know
1,
why
1,
we're doing
1,
all these
1, 1,
voices.
1.
Hey, because that's how we do it.
I'm looking forward to hopefully kind of playing with one of these, because now
Yeah.
now that I put out a video where I said, hey, there are no Steam Deck killers, and a bunch of gamers went, no, there are handhelds that are more powerful than the Steam Deck. And then, like, so many panties were in so many ruffles over me saying, like, that's not what a killer is. Now I need to put out a video saying, this is the Steam Deck killer.
Killer.
Razer Kishi with the Gamer Edge. It's
So
gonna be a
it is
Steam
going to
Deck
be a
killer.
special edition of Razer Kishi. It's not the standard Kishi that we
Yeah.
can pick up on the store. So there are a few things that are unique to it. There's
Oh,
going to
for
be a
sure. No.
5G.
TK. I mean,
Yeah.
like, yes, you're absolutely accurate. What I'm, like, what I'm getting at here is like, this whole market is blowing wide open.
Absolutely.
Portable console, portable gaming hardware.
Yeah.
This is going to be an interesting play where Logitech kind of walked into this space. They kind of dipped their toe in the pool, and
Yeah.
now other companies are going to be following up with other, and now
And
Android.
I have the Logitech gaming set.
No, but
Yeah, no, I don't.
but using Android, I think, is a really smart play,
Of course.
and because I mean, like, Nvidia showed us that Android hardware from years ago was a lot more capable than anyone assumed it was. Like, the games that Shield tablets could play, like, we
Oh
were getting
man.
really good PC ports
Hmm.
that ran natively on
Yeah, yeah.
Android hardware.
Exactly.
And so now I'm anxious to see, like, yeah, cloud gaming is going to be one of the big hooks, but if this is reasonably as powerful as like an 888, there's a ton of local gaming that can be accomplished on a mini tablet like this. So
Oh, absolutely.
I was just feeling nostalgic. Snapdragon 845 with 120 hertz refresh rate display. I pull out this Razer Phone 2, and it's stunning.
Hmm.
It's just stunning. stunning. It is gorgeous hardware, and
Yeah.
it makes me sad that this notion of gaming phones still occupies a very singular niche. But even if you don't have a gaming phone, you probably have a phone that's good at gaming.
Yeah.
So now I want to see what they can do with a little mini tablet.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Same. And I think the biggest thing that surprised me and I wanted to test out a little bit more. So Logitech's approach to this, where if you never had a chance to play with it, it was a singular running app at a time. If you wanted to switch from a game to, let's say, Netflix, it crashed or it closes the previous game and jumps into Netflix. You could not run two things at the same time. It was very limited in resources. It was running a 6 series processor. We knew obviously there was some limitation that came with that. This one is so close in pricing and in features. And the way that we were demoing it back at the summit, so obviously pre-production hardware, but still very well. He was running 6 different apps in the background, and they were not crashing when you switched from one app to the other. So this is definitely the way you would imagine the Razer Phone 3 would have been if it was not made into a phone, but made more into a gaming experience, leveraging the G3X. So very excited. And I think everybody's going to be, if you have a chance to check it out, or if you have a local Razer store, make sure you go and check it out. Definitely. I know Scoop's in Vegas, and there is a Razer store in Vegas that definitely we should be able to leverage.
And this is one of those things, like, I want to be careful because, like, I made this comment, like, this could be something akin to an 888 or an 888 Plus. And Farhan brings up a great point. If it's no different than something like an 888 or 8 Gen 1, I would just get a 2021 flagship and a GameSir gamepad. And that is absolutely... I mean, again, you're not going to get an argument from guys like us. We're the guys that are showing off Ready For and Dex and desktop modes. And like, that is absolutely a viable solution. But it's where I want us to kind of look at Android gaming as a platform is something like this. We talked about this like months ago, right? Like when the very first announcements for the G3X came out, and we saw that it was all in one. It wasn't like this where it was a tablet with a Kishi that snapped onto it. It was that entire... I mean, that was a Razer prototype, right?
Oh, it was a concept device showcasing the power of the G3X. Yes.
So we were sitting there and we were bringing up what I felt were some very fair concerns. Is like, okay, but if you can play the same games on a phone and just get like a clip-on controller, would that really be different? Is it really going to take a standalone piece of hardware to convince people that Android can be okay for gaming? And we make this joke, and people in our audience, I think, can appreciate it, but, I've got a phone, and it does phone things, and I've got a laptop, and it does laptop things, and I've got a tablet, and it does tablet things. Now I've got a game machine, and it does game things. And you're like, at some point, when can we convince all of the other nerds in our YouTube comments that compute power is compute power? Because when I show a phone doing laptop things, boy howdy, do I get a ton of antsy armchair quarterbacking geeks going, no, but if you really want to do laptop things, you should just get a laptop. And you're like, but I just showed you. I just showed you that this works. I'm showing you gaming on a phone. Oh, but gaming on an Android phone is garbage. No, I'm playing great games. I'm having a lot of fun. This is totally a viable... But the games aren't there, and it's all just gotcha mechanics and Candy Crush. Only if you've not looked at the market since, like, Angry Birds was brand new. Because if you looked around, you'd see some really cool stuff. But it's really hard to find. No? I'm not strawmanning, because these are literally the comments I'm getting on my videos. So, unfortunately, like... Well, I would want to say, yes, go get an older... 8 Plus Gen 1, get like an iQOO 9T and get a clip-on controller. I mean, you should be able to find one of those pretty cheap. The phone pretty cheap, and a clip-on controllers they're not that expensive, and you probably have a higher performance part than what this Razer Edge is going to deliver, if it is around an 888 or an 888 Plus type of SoC. But man, getting that idea out to other people has been like complicated dentistry. It is pulling teeth to lead
Change is
those kinds of
definitely.
nerds.
It feels like change is always a very big, a big. It's hard. I think it's just like as you said. Some people are just not open to ideas of being able to maybe leveraging some hardware that's been out for some time, and that you're able to get something close enough to this experience. I will
Hmm.
say that where some people maybe forget is the fact that what your devices do once you're thinking of upgrading is that they don't just disappear into the ether. These devices get recycled, rejuvenated, and they get sold as secondhand devices. These are not going necessarily. Some of them do get recycled and materials just get pulled out. But if the device is in pristine shape, a lot of these companies resell them. It actually goes on and end up having a second
It
life
has a
somewhere
second
else.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't end. That life doesn't end at the yearly upgrade cycle. We have a couple of devices that are going to be coming out. That I mean, February looks to be poised to be a very big launch event type of an experience. MWC is around the corner. We're going to see a lot of devices. I think where the Razer Edge fits, it has its own market. This is obviously feeding in and definitely trying to leverage the Razer community and of course
Yeah.
Cortex, and using everybody that's a fan. And I'm a big fan of the ecosystem as well. My keyboard, my monitor, not the monitor, but my mouse and so on. I love the Air gaming experience, and this is leveraging that. Can you do something different with, let's say, an iQOO 9, like you said, with a controller? Absolutely. Is it going to be
Yeah.
the same? Not necessarily, but it's going to get you
Not
pretty much what you're
necessarily.
getting from it. This is 90% of what the experience is. It's mobile gaming on Android with a controller.
Yeah.
Uh, but one thing that I will say that that I'm appreciating about this is that with the few offerings that we've seen between the Steam Deck, between the Logitech offering, and even some of the other options
Hmm.
on the market, and even Razer, they're trying to go for the price point that is very, very affordable in the sense of
Yeah.
if you're looking for portable
Well,
gaming.
that's exactly the point that I was going to bring up, and I've got it kind
Yeah,
of on the screen right here. And outside
yeah,
of
yeah.
just kind of trying to contextualize this with the other brands in the market, literally, let's say the G3X Gen 1 is similar.
Hmm.
Because I tried finding, I think one outlet had different specs for what the G3X was supposed to be. I believe it's a Cortex X2,
Okay.
big CPU core with
Hmm.
similar core configurations to like an
Like a
888
gen. Yeah.
or an 888 plus. But let's say it's somewhere in between there and an 8 Gen 1. It's just in that generational ballpark,
Hmm.
from the end of 2021 to the beginning of 2022, whatever chip fabrication that might look like.
Yeah, yeah.
$399 for the Wi-Fi version. So it's a $400 gaming focused slate,
Hmm.
1080p, 144 hertz OLED.
As it
That's
should be.
pretty good. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I want to say that's only what like Asus and Red Magic
It's Asus and
pushed
Red
their
Magic market share. Yeah, exactly.
1080p's to 144 hertz. 8 gigs of RAM, that's okay. Again, we're saying gaming focused. It's not going to be doing a whole bunch of other phone operations in the background as regularly.
Hmm.
The storage is a little concerning, but it does have memory card support. So I'll be
Hmm.
curious to see if we can install programs to the SD card, because that's something that Android has kind of been pulling away from. But
Yeah.
128 gigs at least gets you started.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a little lean, but then again, a starter storage for Steam Deck is 64 gigs. So
Yeah, I know.
so okay, but again with ARM, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and then of course the Snap-on controller being a part of this whole experience, it
Yeah.
looks like an interesting tablet purpose built for gaming, not an old phone that's going to have other hardware on it that's not going to be as critical. So
Hmm.
you're not paying for cameras that you're probably not going to use, cuz let me tell you, when I'm walking around with my Red Magic, I'm really not thinking about using those cameras as much as some other phones.
No, it's a
So
it's a
I'll be
difference.
really
Yeah.
anxious to see, but I think they've made a good faith effort to make a product that starts in Steam Deck territory at an appropriate price for what that should resemble.
I think so, and I think the other thing, one thing to mention, the thing that they're trying to leverage the most, I feel like, is cloud gaming. This is
Yeah.
really trying to leverage Xbox Game Pass, GeForce Now, cloud-based services, because at the at its core, you don't really need a lot of storage for that. You do need to download the APK and
No.
install it. But let's say you do want to be able to install some of your favorite content consumption, like Netflix and so on, at the same time. Having additional storage, be able to basically leverage that. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember. Are we able to move Netflix library? Like if you download a few movies on Netflix, can you move it to the SD card? I wonder if we're able. I would hope that you can.
Don't remember if that's
I don't
still a
have
thing
them.
because
I don't have a lot of phones that have SD cards other than
no. So, but I mean, the problem hasn't even been like the Android SD card support. It's been more Netflix has gotten real wonky about their security. So, like,
yeah.
if you have like a wireless display connected, like they just don't let you. Oh, so now it's trying to do downloads for you, and I don't want it to do smart downloads. Let me see. If I can get into my other
Yeah. If you
settings.
just jump into a show, whatever. But yeah, so at the end of the day, as you can see right there, even in the title, Android,
Yes.
PC.
So on my Xperia 1 Mark IV, which has SD card support, you can change the download location to the SD card.
So so
And,
there.
and I have 340 gig free on this SD card.
Nice. Juan's going to be downloading his playlist.
I'm going to download all of Netflix to my Xperia 1 Mark IV.
Just no. Download all of One Piece for this weekend and just go through the entire series. Naruto next, and then Dragon Ball next. Just in that order. I
love it. And I'm going to have to do that because at some point I'm going to have to pop my SIM card out of that Xperia 1 Mark IV. But
yes,
was
I know.
Interesting.
Please do tell where your SIM card is going.
Where could my SIM card be going? I wonder.
I will follow that string of conversation right there.
No, I just wanted to wrap this up though. I'm also hoping that at $399 we're seeing some of the manufacturing expertise that we saw on this Razer Phone 2. Right. If they're making a little mini, because it's a 6.8 inch screen, so it's going to be about the size of a phone. It's not going to be dramatically
It's about the
larger.
size of the Note, if you think about it.
Yeah,
that's the size of the Note.
It's going to be about about a big phone. So this is a mini tablet. But if they build this mini tablet-y experience with the same attention to detail as this Razer phone. Yeah. Like if that, obviously it's not the same team because they got rid of their phone division. We know that, but like, man, I've got an old Razer gaming laptop and I need to replace the battery, but man, if that chassis isn't gorgeous, like I took that thing traveling around the world and it was definitely used and abused and it's still a gorgeous machine. If that's what we're going to get at $400 and it's purpose built for this one task and it does it really well, I can make an argument for not having the mostest, bleedingest, edgest, SoC, high horsepower CPU, GPU.
For sure.
We're not paying for that. I don't know of any phones that are going to come in with an 8 Gen 2 near this price point. So I think we're making some appropriate compromises.
The other thing you want to keep in mind, remember, at $400 it includes the controller. Typical Kishi controllers run about 100. So in reality, it's about 300. We're not actually. I mean, we're referencing it in its combo because that's how it's sold. But think about it. This is literally a tablet at $300 running the G3X, and again, so we'll keep obviously a little bit more excitement content once we hopefully get our hands on one of these guys. I'm hoping I'll be able to get my hands on. I've been talking to Razer literally ever since Snapdragon Summit when I first saw this. And just to kind of reference, because I saw somebody commenting, okay, when I said the entirety of One Piece, I don't think it will fit on the remaining amount of storage you have, Juan. One Piece obviously has way more. It was a joke, obviously, but depends on the library of what Netflix has in the US for us. But thank you, Brian, for catching me and keeping me honest on that one.
Above all else, TK, you and we have to come out with some videos. This Android's gonna kill the Steam Deck. Steam Deck killer from Razer. It's a killer of Steam Decks, which Steam Decks will be killed by this device.
Throw away your Steam Deck. It's done.
It's garbage. It has been killed.
Did you see the Switch Deck? Did you see the
Yeah.
skin from?
Hold
Oh
on.
my god,
Let me
I
pull it up.
so wanted it. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. This is so nerdy that it is just it had to exist. And of course, it's a skin. It doesn't do much. It's not like any
Oh, it
functional
doesn't
thing.
do
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just a
And I
skin.
love the sort of pixelated, blurred out.
The blurred out Nintendo
Oh, is that the only
slot.
picture? I just pulled up one,
There's no,
the
no. I
first
think
site
there's
that
more.
had it.
Yeah, so right there. Oh my god,
No,
look at that.
there are other images,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, no, I
But
know.
again, just debrand being edgelords like they usually
I
are.
know, and they're like,
It's a
quick,
great color
order
combo
it quick
to
before Nintendo lawyers wake up, because
right.
that's how they're edging. Yeah, that's how they do it.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
but yeah, no. So hopefully soon we'll hopefully be able to try to get some time with the Razer Edge. I think it's a very compelling piece of hardware and a somewhat of an approach. I mean, with
Potential.
potential.
I'm excited because I
Yeah,
see some potential here, and I have been very surprised by my own reactions to the Steam Deck.
yeah. Oh, same here.
And if there are gonna be some other players in this space,
Hmm.
I want to see manufacturers approach mobile gaming and PC gaming with their own fresh spin and not just, well, we can make something that's kind of like a Steam Deck and more powerful and it will cost twice as much. I don't think that really helps move the needle. I don't think that helps the evolution and the growth of portable gaming.
Yeah,
But while I don't know that it stuck the landing, Logitech's attempt was something different. And now Razer's attempt is something a little different. And we're getting these different pressures coming
hmm,
from different sides. There's a little bit more of a cloud gaming focus, there's a bit more of an Android focus, there's Proton and Linux, there's just straight up Windows
hmm.
portables. Each one is trying to chip away at a different side of portable gaming. And
Yeah,
obviously, the juggernaut in this space is Nintendo.
of
So,
course.
the more competition that we have that's legitimately trying to find a unique solution, I think is going to be better for the whole gaming industry. And again, that's why I made my video. There are no Steam Deck killers because nothing is really competing at the Steam Deck level for distribution and infrastructure. And Valve is backing up the Steam Deck with their own store.
No,
I don't know that.
in
I don't
many
know
in many
that
ways
that
it's
Razer is going to have that.
no, no, and then we all got it. God of War recently. Also during the holidays, they had a really good sale on that.
Oh,
So
so good.
to me, what I see at this point is like the different configuration and the options that you're able to get with these solutions. And I don't want to string it too long, but the I'm with you with the Logitech, and I appreciate what Logitech did in their approach.
Yeah.
I bought, and that's why I bought it. Actually, I was intrigued enough,
Hmm.
and I bought it at full price at 350. And I really for what it does, and it does well. I don't mind it. I like the fact that it's basically a
Yeah.
cloud gaming experience. Don't leverage too much on the local, and it literally has very much a singular function based experience, and it tries to do that one best. It doesn't try to have things running in the background because it knows it doesn't have enough RAM. It knows it doesn't have enough CPU power to try to
Right.
pull things and run multitasking and all of that.
Sure.
So I don't mind that. What I appreciated from them is that they're all sticking into that price point. It's a big difference when we say something that's capable as the 888 or 888 plus, and it is coming at around $300 to $400 when you get it with the controller, and that's retail. That's not a special that's coming up
And
with the Wi-Fi.
I want to put this out here because we don't know. We
Hmm.
don't have one.
No,
And if
no,
we
we
did
don't.
have one under embargo, we wouldn't tell you that we did anyway. But we don't have one. But here's the last thing, and it's
No,
the
just
thing that always pisses me off about the armchair quarterbacks. Because
yeah.
none of the people in our chat right now are that dumb. They're all considerate,
Hmm.
curious, thoughtful individuals. I'm not blowing smoke. I mean, literally, I would not be live streaming if I had an audience full of jerks. The thing that we'd also want to take a look at, I believe there is significant room
Hmm.
for a manufacturer to take an SoC that we already know in a phone
Yeah.
and strip out all the garbage that you don't need to find more performance. This is something that used to be a much bigger deal in the early days of Android skins. We would talk
Yeah.
about how poorly optimized TouchWiz
Oh my
was.
God. Yes.
you'd have all of these things running in the background that would clog up the amount of compute power that we had. So if
Yep.
you took an A88 and you stripped out a ton of phone stuff that you don't need anymore and you optimized for that hardware, we've seen the gains that can be made on what would otherwise be unexciting compute power. You look at a
Absolutely.
Pixel.
Yeah.
Pixel benchmarks like garbage, but man, has Google tapped into something specific about optimizing for their flavor of the SoC and their flavor of the software.
Yeah.
I don't know that Razer has that talent in-house. And this is maybe why it's taken so long to get this portable out in a meaningful consumer way. But if you could optimize for the A88 purely for gaming, and you really focused and dedicated that hardware to that endeavor, you could end up with something special. It would be different
And
than
dedicate
picking up.
better cooling. That was going to say the cooling was going
Yes,
to be the next thing, because that was the biggest
yes.
thing with the 888 and the 8 Gen 1.
And building the hardware specifically for that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Which I feel quite a number of manufacturers were not, like, a lot of them had a good solution for it, but I don't think it was ever truly, with the exception of Red Magic and, let's say, even talking, let's say, about like ROG phones type games.
Yeah, an
Those are
ROG.
designed, those are purposely gaming based
Yeah.
phones, but again, 600.
But
Like,
they
even
also
the,
have to be multi-purpose computers. Yeah.
absolutely. And if we think about the, like, Red Magic, $650, ROG 900, even above, depending on the model that you're getting, those are purposely built. What this is doing, as you said, it takes away the phone functionality. You don't have to worry about, making and receiving phone calls off of this thing, or receiving and sending text messages, WhatsApp messages, Telegram. I mean, you can install Telegram and stuff, but you know what I mean?
And
To me, yeah,
to that point, sorry, and I want you to wrap it up, but just to piggyback on that real quick,
of course.
I would expect it to be a bit more brutal about managing background processes. I
Yes,
don't want that on a phone. I do want that
on the
on
gaming.
a dedicated gaming device. But please,
Exactly.
please wrap up what
No.
you were saying there,
And
'cause-
with that, so we'll definitely have more things to say. There's a lot to be excited about, but till you're able to play with it, use it, and then of course live with it. Maybe even travel with it a couple of times to be able to see
Yeah.
how this, because this is really meant to be like the thing I appreciated the most about the Steam Deck was my 12 hour flight to Germany with it, and your and your AR glasses, because I had them with me. But
Yep.
that beside the point. But it was that experience that made me love the Steam Deck. I'm sitting, I'm wearing my personal theater experience, my personal hearing experience,
Yep.
and it was beautiful. I did not care where I was sitting on the plane. That's the level of excitement that I want,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping and that was the thing I missed out of Logitech, that I was really, it felt kind of short for me because there's no external video output. There's a lot of limitations that we don't have. So I'm wanting to see how this thing did in its early generation. In the prototype edition, it did have HDMI output, but that was a prototype. So I'm hoping that this this one also supports maybe even video.
There are a lot
output
of,
or USB-C.
things for us to check out and for us to answer.
Tons,
but
of course.
but
Tons
that's
of games,
also that is the fun of speculating on
Oh, yeah.
a new
It just
product.
launched. It literally just launched.
Yeah, literally just launched.
Literally.
And this is kind of a new product from a company that has dabbled with some of this stuff in the past. And some of the things they've done in the past have been really compelling, and then they just haven't stuck with it. Like Razer has tried to make gaming tablets a thing. So this is the next phase. This is the next step in that evolution. But I do want to get on because Chris, I think, has asked one of the most important questions here in the live stream. Is anyone looking forward to the OnePlus 11? I mean, is there anything like there to talk about? I don't even know. Like, if anyone wants to.
So first and foremost, I will say this.
Is it a thing
oddly enough, you and I got different phones, so let's go ahead and showcose at least the versions that we have. Oh, yeah,
I have a case on mine. You don't have a case on. Oh, got to make sure not to show anything on
No, I'm using the Razer the 10T case. So we both luckily got different colors, because there's only two colors and we got them in there.
Yeah.
And so mine is super reflective. You could kind of see everything. It is it's beautiful. It's green, and of course we have a little bit more of a starry effect going on the camera sensor. And I was very also happy that that OnePlus matched
They
our
gave us
buds.
matching earbuds.
Yes,
Yeah,
well,
that
to
was
the
really
device,
cute.
because I got the green one as well. So here, we'll do this one here. Oh my god.
See, I think I like the black
Uh-huh.
phone and the green buds. I don't
So
know
I
that I like the black buds as much. So
so and just for so since I couldn't afford getting Juan Carlos level,
you didn't
casing,
splurge on a $9 case
I just
for
dropped
your
the
phone.
phone. Oh my god.
Oh no! Is it okay?
Oh yeah, it's fine, I think. Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
No, the screen protector I think came off.
Gotta see. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Oh no! You just saw it live.
like that would be I was like, so TK's review is done. Um that's how TK's video is. No, I know. So no, what I was trying to say is I ended up using the OnePlus 10T Glacier case. It doesn't
And
fit it
that's
well.
working with
It
the
it it kind
buttons?
Oh yeah,
Oh, because the
because it's
buttons
open.
are
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
Okay,
the
that
only
makes
way to
sense.
get it because when as you guys can kind of figure it out by the way we're talking so far, is that we didn't get cases with this phone. We're having to go hunt for our own cases. But long story short, yeah. So I've been make do, and I did see the case that you had. There is one more case on Amazon that's like
Yeah,
38
another one
bucks.
just fired up. Yep.
Yeah. And but
Did you
that
get
one's
it?
that's the original one. So I'm like, okay, do I want to get
Oh,
that one?
okay.
It's the original. It's like $38
Yeah.
for the sandstone one. So what I'm probably going to do is I'll just wait for to see what special edition they come out with, because they typically come out with like unique cases on their site, and that's usually the one I like to buy because they
Yeah.
had the robot one before, they had the sandstone, the green sandstone
Yeah.
that came out. So there's some
I
casing.
still love the OnePlus 10 Hasselblad
Oh, that one, yes. So the 10 Pro
custom
from last
kit.
year, absolutely.
Come
If it
on.
will, yeah, your face is in the in the phone in the frame.
Panasonic is not liking anything.
Is it
Come on.
Panasonic though, or is it?
No,
Did
this
you
is the
update?
camera.
Oh, okay. Here you go. Hey, there you go.
And so for some reason, like my autofocus has just been real shaky lately. But yeah, so that's the Hasselblad OnePlus 10 case.
Yeah, the internals with the
So-
camera with the button.
Real sharp.
Okay, so for a split second, dude, NVIDIA software customization with fixing your eyes thing. So everything was blurry except for your eyes, and it looked really like ghost. Oh my god. Okay, later if you get a chance, go back and watch the stream at this point. You turned the feature on, didn't you? The
I
eye
don't know what
correction.
you're talking about. These are totally my eyes. I
have the
always
eye.
am able to fix focus
whole
just like
time.
this well. That
It's
is
like I'm
totally
looking
not.
this way, but my eyes are this way.
It's so freaky.
It
I love
is.
it. No,
So
I'm
what
gonna
saying,
I'm gonna turn it
the
off.
whole-
I'm gonna
yeah,
turn
yeah,
it
no, no,
off. This
you
is
can
this
keep
is
it on.
this is
The
silly.
defocusing was
But-
like, so your whole face was blurred,
Right, and then-
except for your eyes. Your eyes were as sharp as heck. I'm like, huh. Exactly.
great.
That's how we do it. But
So yeah, Aditya was concerned that you just pulled a Linus, that you just dropped your OnePlus 11. So that's pretty good.
that would be freaking messed up. I was like, no. It did drop, but luckily it's not that far. It's like about 3 foot down.
So
and it had
so
a
you
case
shared a photo. I shared like a little teaser video, just like
Oh,
kind
I
of
shared.
showing off the
I did a
hardware
little
and
bit of a
stuff.
reel as well. I did. Oh, I
Oh,
showed
you did a reel
photos
also.
I did. So
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. So my understanding was I was only able to share photos. So I took photos and I made a video out of those photos. So in
Yeah.
a sense, I made a video, but essentially it's a reel. I
Yeah,
didn't post
I mean,
it to
technically,
YouTube. But yeah.
I did video of it all, but it was also just like the same stuff. So
It
I mean,
is.
we're this is one of those things, and I mentioned this like on I kind of detailed a little bit more of the relationship on Patreon, but it's just we're working with OnePlus. They've got some rules as to how they want the commentary to sort of be
Come out.
staged, and
Yeah.
we're playing ball with their embargo schedule. But it is kind of tricky when you're talking about a global brand that puts out different products at different times in different regions. So
Oh, absolutely.
we're definitely going to have a lot that we can get into more. But for you sharing some photos, have you already gotten the OnePlus haters like on your photos? Like I've got a whole list of people who are like, ugh, this is such a huge step backwards, and OnePlus has made a terrible looking phone, and it's just awful. And you're like, I don't see how you could get that. This looks This looks really clean to me. I
It
like
is.
circle dial camera modules like Vivo
And
and
I think to a
Huawei
certain point they're trying to
and
leverage
Lumias.
their watch circular experience, because when you
Yeah, a
saw
little bit.
they put out a
A little bit,
video,
yeah.
and it has a little bit more of that watch circular cover in the back. So
Because
I didn't get a lot. I
it
did get
almost
like a
has
couple.
like what do you call that on a the on what is the what do you call the bezel of a watch? There's a word for that, and now I
I
can't
don't remember.
remember what it is.
Is it not?
But yeah, just around the outside, and there's
Yeah.
almost always like there's almost like a little kind of texture marking that goes
Hmm.
around the dial
Yeah, yeah,
on the OnePlus 11 that looks a lot like that structure on a
yeah.
watch face.
Absolutely.
So they're definitely trying to make accessories resemble other parts of their products, and there's a little bit more of a cohesive design
Because
language.
there's no word really of a second generation watch. I mean, we still have only that one
Nah.
generation from last year.
Yeah.
There was this massive thing that dropped out of the blue, apparently today, which was that they're coming out with a tablet. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't catch that.
So it wasn't officially announced by OnePlus. It was basically the rumor everywhere. There's images of a OnePlus
Oh,
pad.
okay, just another one of the leaks or rumors that's
Well,
coming
yeah,
out.
but I think the I don't even know if it was a leak. Is one of the articles that I saw said the source was OnePlus. So it was kind of weird. Like I was looking at it because the pictures look pretty realistic.
Oh,
And
snap. Droid Life has like a big old picture of it. Oh, let me do
yeah,
Ars
yeah,
Technica.
sure, yeah. No, but what I'm
Excuse
saying
me.
is like when I followed one of the articles, I was like source OnePlus. I'm like,
Oh, well,
like
that would have been nice to know too.
I was like,
OnePlus, you could have let
I
us know.
could have shared some of that love, the
All
OnePlus.
right, here,
Yeah, that one.
let's.
I think that was yeah. If you scroll to the bottom of the
So
article, it
get your
says
first
source
look at the
OnePlus.
OnePlus Pad, the OnePlus's first tablet. We have both official and unofficial renders of a supposed 11.6-inch tablet. Oh, okay. So I didn't notice this. I've seen this photo. For anyone
Okay.
who's listening to the audio, it's a photo of the OnePlus 11 and the OnePlus Buds
Yeah.
on top of another screen that has really, really tiny bezels. I didn't notice. I've seen this photo. I did not notice that that's what they were resting on. And so now they've got some other unofficial shots coming
A
out.
lot of like this is talk about like out of the blue for something to show up like
Yeah.
when I so
And look at that big circle camera dial on the
on the
back. You
on
know,
the back.
TK, that looks like garbage. OnePlus can't make a good-looking tablet. I am someone on the internet with a YouTube account and no videos on my YouTube account that I have ever uploaded, and I just think OnePlus has lost their way, and they are one bust, and they have betrayed their fans, and they've lost their way, and they can't make good products, and no one who likes their products is objective.
Like I don't know what you're thinking, man. No, seriously, I think I'm interested for the fact that they actually so the surprising part about this is we knew from last year that Google's releasing a tablet, right? We knew
Yeah.
that the tablet is coming out. This is actually it's supposed to come out any in the next month or two. It's supposed to be Q1 2023. And I feel like OnePlus is looking at it now that there's going to be better support for tablets or Android on tablets. This is the time to get back into the game and try to give somewhat of a like that
Yeah,
experience.
they don't
of
have
OnePlus.
to. Companies don't have to reinvent the wheel to make
Yeah.
software that works better on tablets. And again, Google let all that slide for years, and
Oh, absolutely.
now,
And then they
hopefully that
discontinued
means.
it. And, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm excited to see where that is. I'm happy that this is happening. I'm surprised as heck out of it. I was like, I woke up this morning and I'm starting to see pictures and be like, what? Wait, what? When did that happen? Like, how did that? And
Yeah.
where? Yeah, no,
This was not on my radar at all.
no,
Again,
absolutely.
even if we had one, I would still lie to you and say that we're under embargo and that we don't have one and that I didn't know anything about this. But genuinely, I didn't know anything about this.
We really suck at this game, by the way, just for everybody's reference. We're
I
really
like
bad at it.
saying the quiet parts out loud. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
what you're probably-
We need to figure.
But this
inside
this
voice,
is kind of
inside
interesting. So
voice,
this is from the yeah, right. I need
Inside-
soda voce. I'm whispering, but you can still hear me in the back of the theater. But this is interesting from the Ars Technica article. Internationally, OnePlus's parent company Oppo started a tablet line last year, launching both the Oppo Pad and Oppo Pad Air in 2022. The
Yeah.
more premium Oppo Pad has an 11-inch 2560 by 1600 resolution display, 120 hertz LCD, a Snapdragon 870, 6 gigs of RAM, and an 8,360 milliamp hour battery with 33 watt charging and pen input, which sells for $340. Holy crap.
870. I mean, seriously, when you start thinking about the quality of the
Oh
hardware
man,
that
because
they're
like
putting in the
I
300.
don't even know if I still have it down here, but that's like not a lot more. I don't think I've got it in here. It might be downstairs. But that's not a lot more than some of these like TCL
Mhm.
5G connected tablets that I
Oh,
mean,
like the Tab, was it the Tab Pro or the Pro 5G, the one that we just saw late last
yeah.
year? Yeah, I
Which
remember.
I think that's now like you can find it for a lot less, but I mean it launched at like 300 or just sub 300. And if you're telling me that OnePlus could put out like a $350 or maybe even a $400 Android tablet, but running a
It's
substantially more powerful SoC,
Oh,
that
absolutely. From a
would be
6 series Qualcomm Snapdragon to an 870, that's essentially an 8 plus
would be
plus, an
huge.
865 plus plus. It's huge. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, but this is the thing. We've seen Xiaomi do things like that in the past. We've seen Redmi do that in their tablets. So for me, the tablet market in the US, although dominated by Samsung because they provide mostly all of the premium experiences,
Hmm.
TCL's been really doing a good job in the budget side, and of course fitting in
Yeah.
and providing us that really good bang for the buck experience.
And LG got out. I mean, again,
Yeah,
LG I
yeah,
think
yeah.
was one of the
The
top
LG
manufacturers in the
Gram,
United
no, not the
States
Gram. I forgot
for.
the name of the brand.
No,
The
no, no. They just
LG.
had a whole bunch of like really cheap tablets. Again, you
Yeah, yeah.
would go to like a carrier store and it would be it would often be like get a free LG tablet with the purchase of your LG G5, and you're like, okay, cool. This tablet's kind of junk, but I got it for free.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know what you
TCL
mean.
came in and
Yeah.
fulfilled a lot of that role, but if OnePlus just brings over this Oppo Pad and they give it enough of a markup to warrant the international distribution and the changes in regulatory certifications and
Well,
whatever it is
updating the
that they need to
software,
do, and again some
bring
software updates and
yeah,
stuff.
Oxygen OS over to it. But yeah,
But man, I like there is such a strong buy at again just sub $400. That hardware still would be phenomenally good. It would be significant overkill for
oh yeah.
most of the consumers who would pick that up and use it as just like a daily entertainment and content consumption device.
Yeah, and like just for reference, I mean, even for me, I use a tablet on a that to record videos. I actually use it as a second
Yeah.
display for my cameras. I use it directly to play. I mean, obviously this is a Samsung tablet, but there is still a functional place for tablets, and I feel like that it's just a matter of the right price point and the specification. If OnePlus is able to pull this off, I feel like in general, the consumer in the U.S. market will benefit, and we'll
Yeah.
have to see basically how this is going. It looks like so the thing about it, obviously, is from what the rumors or the articles are saying, essentially, is that we're going to hear more about this at the launch event on the 7th of February, which will be in New Delhi. And I also somehow through Jermaine, a concept creator, apparently there is a second launch event that's going to happen in Northern Europe, in the
Hmm.
Netherlands. So there is a smaller secondary event going on there, but in general, we're not having the same ones that we've seen in the past. So
Yeah.
I think the question that you led with, Juan, was: Are we excited, or are you excited to see what OnePlus has to offer? With the OnePlus 11, I will probably say is yes, the device does exist in the Chinese edition. We've seen some creators use
Hmm.
the Color OS version of it, and then they've referenced it. I think to a certain point, having a device that's made for the market that you're in, there is also some things to be said there. Of course, the
Makes
customizations that we're going to see,
yeah.
Oxygen OS bring in as opposed to Color OS with, and of course, from what we've seen with everything is that the slider is back. So OnePlus did stick to their word and they did bring it back. I think that was the biggest thing I wanted to emphasize in my pictures. I was like,
Hmm.
look, the slider is back.
Hmm.
They said it's coming back. I know the 10T got a lot of flack for
Oh
that,
yeah.
But I know I'm rapping today. The slider's back and the got a flack in the I'm like. Anyways,
Don't call it a comeback.
yeah,
Oh wait, no, we just
exactly.
got demonetized again. Darn it.
Absolutely, and now yeah, we're getting knocks on our doors. So I'll say that for me, the 10T represented a very different experience than what we got with the 10 Pro. And what I'm hoping to see, and what we'll hopefully be able to kind of talk a little bit more with with the 11, is the experience of what is 2023 and what is OnePlus's approach to 2023, and hopefully we'll be able to, shed some light on that in the near future. But
Yeah.
I think they wanted us to still let everybody know who has the devices to get some excitement going on, and then drop the tablet. Because
Yeah.
That's what yeah,
But-
OnePlus is trying to do the rumor thing again. I like it.
Right.
I love the game a little bit, more so than just
Well, in that it feels
something new.
like they're trying to play a bit more of a game than last year, which felt like they're putting out solid devices, but it's just a very straightforward kind of on the rails conversation with their customers and And unfortunately, when the manufacturer doesn't step up to sort of lead that conversation, then that conversation is just fulfilled by people who don't like the product.
Yeah.
And now that's run roughshod over so much of, again, people who are interested in the OnePlus 11 aren't dropping a ton of comments on videos and Instagram posts and stuff. And instead, I'm getting a lot of, oh God, it's so hideous. Oh geez, I wonder if it's gonna break. Like a snap, like what someone said. I just hope it doesn't snap like a Kit Kat. And you're like,
hey, we just had an accidental drop test. Everything.
Yeah, right. We've just demonstrated. But again, it's like if
badly on my side. But
if that's all you're into tech for, I really think you're going to miss an interesting part of this conversation. And we've also been talking a lot about Samsung leaks and rumors. We're sitting here and complaining about how Samsung isn't as exciting as they used to be, how we're really concerned about the S23 and the S23 Plus. I think the S23 Ultra is going to be a fine phone. I think it's going to be a really good phone, but that's not the most mainstream flavor of Galaxy S. It's just the one that YouTubers talk the most about. And if you're missing, I'm telling you, we'll talk about what we can talk about. Again, we've been both doing just a little bit more kind of testing and reviewing on phones like the iQOO 11, which is a cousin of the OnePlus 11.
Speaking of
and
which,
if you're missing
that video early next week, but yes, keep
going. But if you're missing what's happening there at the price point that iQOO is selling at, then you're missing a conversation that is going to hurt Samsung's S series a lot. What the iQOO is able to undercut and outperform a Galaxy S series, it even kind of makes an iPhone 14 look a little silly as as expensive a phone as the iPhone 14 is. And I feel like that's going to be the sweet spot for Xiaomi, for Vivo, for OnePlus. Where is Apple and Samsung most vulnerable? That means we're probably not going to get a whole bunch of ultra competitors. I think this year is going to be a little tamer for the $1,000 plus slate phones, but I think it's going to be monstrous in that $400 to $700 range, because that's where Apple's weakest, that's where Samsung's weakest.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think there's a huge opportunity for those brands to come in and say, like, we're giving you 80% of the premium tier experience with all the performance, and you're not going to pay that much for it.
Oh, absolutely.
That I think is going to get some people. It's going to get people who aren't just OnePlus haters at this point. I think it's going to get a lot of them a lot more excited about what that competition could look like.
And I think the biggest thing we want to keep in mind is that what happened last year with the S22. The S22 for me was just not, it felt like a weird, like you buy it and you return it just to be able to get a better phone, because that's how it was designed. It very much is a watered down experience. And at that point, I think it was still like $700, $800 for that version of the phone. And the 10T, even though it came at the end of the year with the 8 Plus Gen 1, blew that out of the water with all the performance that the 10T has. And that was last year. So again, I'm hoping where OnePlus's approach to this is, being that they're not going, obviously, this is not a Pro. This is the 11, the OnePlus 11, not the 11 Pro. So we don't know if there is going to be an 11 Pro, but at an 11 naming convention, I feel like you
Hmm.
said, this is definitely going to be gunning for the S23, the S23 Plus. I don't know if it's again at the ultra level. It's, as you said, it's not necessarily that there's a lot of competition at that level. What I would say is there's also not as much sales at that level. So you have to kind of keep in mind they'll sell much less, fewer ultra units, and they'll sell more of the pluses, because I feel like the plus is where it's going to be similar to what we had last year. So yeah, hold on, I can't really.
So
Yeah,
I'm sharing this on the screen right now.
this is straight off of
Right
Samsung's
now,
website. Yeah, yeah.
if you go to Samsung.com with 2 stars out of 5 for the 14 reviews that have been written for the Galaxy S22 and S22 Plus, if you wanted to buy an S22 and you didn't trade in, or you weren't going through your carrier for like some kind of subsidized deal, it would cost you $850 for the
Um,
256.
I think you have the Verizon highlighted. You need to, right?
No. So like T-Mobile, again, you have the 256, it's $850, and then
Oh, they're
AT&T
all 800. Wow.
AT&T lists you 128, and they don't carry the 256 anymore. So AT&T doesn't have a 256 gig S22. Now, if we really want to make this oranges to oranges against the iQOO 11,
Hmm.
we would have to go up to the S22 Plus,
Yep,
which is
bigger than
going
five.
to start us off at $999.99 for a 128 gig version of the phone on the poorest performing 8 Gen 1 of last year.
I
This phone was murked
Yeah.
by every other 8 Gen 1 that was made. It was murked by the
Oh,
Note 22. It
absolutely.
was
Yeah.
murked by Motorola. It was murked by Xiaomi. It was murked by Vivo. It was murked by the OnePlus 10 Pro. Every other 8 Gen 1 performed better with less optimization or throttling of software and less thermal throttling.
Yeah.
This phone is still MSRP'd at $999.99. And unfortunately, there is literally someone today who is buying that phone at $1,000 as we speak. They
Yeah.
don't really
And
watch tech YouTube videos, and they're going to get taken for a ride, and they don't even know that their $1,000 could go a lot further, or that they could spend a lot less for comparable performance, or that a new phone is right around the corner.
absolutely.
That's legitimately what Samsung is charging and what they are delivering to their consumers as we speak. I
And this
really hope
is
the rumors
less
are
less
wrong,
less than a week from the S23 Ultra, the
but
S22
the
series. Yeah.
rumors are we're looking at price hikes for Samsung,
Hmm.
not prices staying put or price drops. And if the S22, even if it has a better performing chip, but if the S22
Hmm.
starts coming out at like 850 for 128 gigs, that is going to do a huge disservice to the entire premium Android smartphone
Yeah.
market, and it's
Yeah.
also just going to push a bunch of people to go get iPhones.
Well, because yeah, I mean, at the end, you need to build the ecosystem, and I think what we had last year with the S22 series launches, where they had everybody upgrade their storage. So everybody,
Yeah.
if anybody that bought the S22 is thinking about going to the S23, they're not going to go for that lower end because they have too much stuff, right? It's like, you're fitting
Yup.
into a bigger suit, I guess, in a certain way. Um, I'm interested. Obviously we're less than a week away. There's not much really there. There's a lot of rumors going on as far as the processing power, the camera experiences, pricing. There's just and the fact of the matter is, obviously, is that the S23 Ultra is going to be basically a Note still. That it doesn't look like that we're going to
I
be
hope
shifting
so.
back into the S series. I kind of
I
in a weird way I missed the S series. Like I feel like we lost
Yeah.
the largest version of
Well, no.
the S23 because this is a Note. This is a Note.
What I totally feel you,
Yeah.
because I was a Note fan.
Yeah.
I want the Note. I'd be fine if we lost the S Ultra forever. But
Uh-huh.
legitimately, between the two of us, what we have is the correct answer. There should not be this blurring of products and stupid naming games.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there should be if there's going to be a Galaxy S, then there needs to be a top-end Galaxy S. And if
And
there's going to be a phone with a pen inside of it, then it needs to be a Note. And
which is
someone
what
who
we
wants a
have.
Galaxy S probably doesn't want to buy a pen that they're not going to use. And someone who wants a Note doesn't want to have to mess with an external stylus that they had to buy separately.
If you wanted to
Those are
depend on
two
there.
separate products, and Samsung is trying to merge those two niche
Yeah.
customer bases. And that to me does a disservice to the entire consumer conversation about Samsung. And it really clouds the conversation on just like, what is their top end device? Because now is it S Ultra? Is it Z?
The
What
S20,
is it?
the S23 Plus is their best S series. The S23 Ultra is their Note, and the Fold
Yeah.
is. I don't. So I from what we saw last year, I know that the Fold is not their top performer. It's purely a foldable at its core.
It's their most
The
aspirational product.
yes, but it's also the most the it's like the weird thing. Okay, like when I saw Evan Blass's the Note the Fold 4, the battery swelling on that. That device has more control over how the performance of the processor was done on Samsung. They took out
Yeah.
performance mode. We had a lot more limitation in what you were able to do with this device. Like there was a lot more calculation of managing this device as
Yeah.
opposed to
And
what
it's
the
so
Note
sad
would.
with that 8 Plus Gen 1 because tell me you haven't
Like seriously, like
any
you want.
any of the phones with 8 Plus Gen 1s that handled the 8 Plus Gen 1 well had really killer performance modes. Like there was a distinct difference in how those
Mhm.
phones operated when you cranked them up
I
and they would
love
run
monster
warm
mode. I
and
love
they would
monster mode.
nuke the battery. But
Oh
man,
yeah,
seriously, monster mode is good.
yes, and
Oh, it's real good.
it is. And so my thing is, I think we still have three lines of devices. The naming is just funky. The Z Flip, I
Yeah.
think it's definitely fits a specific demographic, but I don't feel like it's a performance
It's
based
a
device.
statement phone. It
It's a
makes a
statement phone.
statement.
It absolutely it folds. And I think that's all I got from the commercials. It folds. But the Note, I think for me, what they should have done is again, I miss the best version of the S series
Hmm.
because to be honest, although I liked using the Notes, for the most part, the longest ones I would typically use or my SIM card would be sitting in would have typically been the S series because that's typically the one that carries me with the new SoC at the beginning of the year. And by the time we get to the end of the year and the Notes coming around, I've moved so many times. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see that the 2023 refresh. It doesn't right now so far on paper. It looks like it's a spec bump sheet, right? We're looking at essentially a brand new SoC at 8 Gen 2.
Hmm.
Also, some rumors around that part. We'll have to see how that kind of comes out.
So
I think we talked about
Gary
that last time.
explains Gary explains did a video on what he thinks of rumors coming out for the S23 and he really thinks that it's completely beyond the pale that there will be some kind of Samsung Foundry version of the 8 Gen 2. So I'm really hoping he's correct. I'm
So
really hoping that the rumor is just that we're getting TSMC parts that are better binned so that they can be overclocked. But even overclocking makes me really nervous because Samsung has not handled higher performance, higher power draw, and higher thermal parts very well
mhm.
over the last 2 years. The S21 was not a good phone. The S22 made the S21 look like a much better phone. And that makes me very anxious about an S23 running hotter. And especially given the incredible performance gains that we've seen from BBK and from Xiaomi devices,
Mhm.
I want to see a Samsung that really puts the effort into building their phones properly around these SoCs. And they have not demonstrated that attention to detail over the last 2 years.
Well, and so that's the biggest thing. This is why I kept calling it the 8 Gen 2. Obviously, just the generational improvement over the fact that obviously this is an SoC that they used to make, right? They used to be the
Yeah.
manufacturing horsepower manufacturing for Qualcomm on their 8 Gen 1, and then of course ever since the 8 Plus Gen 1, it moved over to TSMC. So we'll have to see there. I'm looking to kind of see also what they're able to do with the camera. I mean, 200 megapixel pixel bin down is not going to be that much different than but we'll have to see some of the other options and what software options
Right.
they're able to bring in. So we'll have to see. Like I said, there's a lot of things. Again, same thing with OnePlus. There's rumors, there's things. I mean, we have hardware, but there's not a lot of conversation going on right now. By the 7th, hopefully, we'll have a lot more comments and commentary
Yeah.
going on. By the 1st, we'll obviously find out who's had the device for so many months, and they're able to share with us their review on Samsung. So we'll see how that
Mm-hmm.
conversation goes.
As soon as Unpacked starts, my entire YouTube feed is not going to be worth looking at all. It's just going to be, I've had the phone for 3 weeks now, and let me tell you about how it's the most popular already. And you're like, all right, cool.
I will be
I
your guy
guess.
on the show floor, and I don't know if I think I've mentioned him overall, but so I am going. I should be. I got the invitation. I am gonna.
Oh, you're gonna go. You're gonna be in person.
I
Okay, great.
will. As years pass, as the last time I went to an Unpacked was right before the shutdown of the pandemic. Let's say that. It was February of 2020. I went up to San Francisco. I got to hang out with Adam, El Jefe, Jeff. I don't know why I call him El Jefe. Greg. These are people. And it was right after that, like not even 2 weeks later, we got the notification. It was shut down, and then, bam, we're here.
Yeah, I haven't been in person at an Unpacked. I want to say since the S9.
Oh my, wait. So
I think that might have
Barcelona.
been my last year. Yeah.
Was that that was the S7. The S7 was Barcelona. I haven't been to. I didn't go to the S9. I went to the S21 is when I picked up.
I purposely have kept so I've got all of the footage that Jaime and I shot from the Note 7.
Yeah.
And then I remember
the Note 7 that never happened. That never existed. Yes.
That wasn't a thing. I don't even know why I would even bring that up because that was fake news. But so yeah, I've got a ton of footage from the Note 7. The S8 did great. I remember going to the S8, and it was right around the S9 launch that I was starting to kind of separate from Pocket now.
Okay, yeah.
Where I had already separated, and I was just doing like a little kind of freelance stuff on the side to kind of manage the transition. I think the last Unpacked I went to was the S9. So
and I picked up from there because the S10 was the first one I went to, and I didn't go to as a media. I was invited actually somehow. I won something on Twitter. They invited me as an actual guest as a part of the Samsung members. And then from there on, I know dude. I have the sweater and everything. It was nice. It was
so we've got a lot of speculation, and we've got a lot of leaks and rumors and things that we can point to. And TK and I, we can't tell you anything about the OnePlus 11 except what it looks like.
Yep.
Anyone who's sitting there and like armchair quarterbacking the OnePlus because it doesn't look as good, I have zero patience. It's like it's a phone. First of all, I'm not so precious about phone design because we've been going through dominoes and circles and squares and rectangles. Like at some point, you just need to have a lump on the back of the phone where the cameras live, and it looks good. It looks like a Huawei. It looks like a Lumia. It looks like a Vivo.
Yeah.
Like a circle is fine. And I'm kind of over this like knee-jerk hater reaction of, oh, but it's OnePlus is trying to make a device that looks a little unique, and I don't think they should be allowed to do that. And OnePlus has lost their way, and it's the same nerds that were like whinging on about like the Pixel visor, and you're like, at what point have you lost such you've completely dropped any objectivity? You can just say, I don't like Google, and anything they do, I'm never going to like it, and that's my bias, and that's fine, and we all know to ignore you and never waste any time in our comments. I can mute you, and you never have to show up in anyone's comments ever again. It's great. You just be intellectually honest with what you're complaining about. But the people that are trying to make it sound like it's some kind of learned opinion or objective stance, or that there's the popular notion is that this phone is ugly, I just can't anymore. I mean, these people are ridiculous.
No, I think to a certain point, you got to understand also that phone design is but one part of what the phone is, and that there's so many more things we can say about the fact that there's a design that one company never changes from, and all they keep doing is just changing the the circumference of the lens covers on the back. But look, at the end of the day, if you're going to comment, if you're going to participate in a conversation, bring at least a point of view that references facts, not just the fact that you just don't like something. And if you don't like it, you don't have to comment. It's just say, be nice. It's nice.
Well,
It's nice to be nice, I guess.
well, again, because I do like having conversations about things like
If it is a
design,
conversation, though,
but
it's not a
someone going
conversation when
like,
you just
hold
you're
on,
just
let me just see if I can find the comment here real quick because I don't want to. Juan, let's be real. 2 steps forward, 1 huge step back for the OP11. The camera module is just hideous. And like, what are you even trying to say? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You're like, oh, good, we brought back the notification switch, but oh, I couldn't be seen in public with a circular camera module.
I
Like,
mean, this is a
at
circle
what
through a square.
point?
But yeah,
Yeah, right.
you just
That objectively,
get
not
a
a great
case.
look, TK.
I know. It's hot garbage. It's called I didn't have a case. I needed a case. And this was the only case I could rock without again, you beat me to the whole you went up like I bought the first case on Amazon and I went up there and I looked and I was like, oh, there's another one like it's like 40 bucks. I was like, let me I want to see what Samsung what OnePlus. It would be funny if
Well,
Samsung released cases for OnePlus.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that's also the other thing too, is that we can be pretty confident. It's been one of just the running track records, I would say, since the OnePlus 5.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say since the OnePlus 5, the best cases you can get for a OnePlus come from OnePlus. I mean, I've got the carbon fiber OnePlus 9 case. I've got the Hasselblad OnePlus 10 case. I've got the sandstones on my OnePlus 8. I mean, they're just really good cases that are very well designed for an aesthetic that year to year is just a OnePlus feel.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's the thing I've been most sad about on the Pixels is that we lost the fabric cases. My fabric cases aged very poorly, very quickly, because I would rub those phones in the dirt to get my pretty flower macro photography samples. But now if I want that fabric texture, I'm going to other manufacturers to get cases for my Pixels. And the plasticky bumper case on the Pixel 6 is one of the worst cases I've ever owned. So if there's anything that I think we can predict with some kind of consistency is that as soon as these phones launch, there's going to be much better cases
Absolutely, yeah.
And than what I was able to buy pre-release.
That was the
for
only
$9.
reason. That was the only reason why I did not just on the spot order that case, just because I wanted to have something better protecting it. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how things are. I mean, the 7th is around a quarter. It is going to be in India. It will be obviously streamed online, so it's not like we're not going to be able to watch it. And we'll be able to see how the all the information. And I'm excited to find out more about the OnePlus Pad. I think it's a good. It's a good move for them, coming up with more hardware, more, not just smartphones. I guess what I'm trying to say, they're trying to leverage. There's also, I think there was some teasers as well about their keyboard. So hopefully we'll hear about that one as mechanical keyboard.
Yeah, there were a couple
gaming.
press photos like, I am not a super keyboard collector guy, but I'm curious what they're trying to accomplish with a keyboard.
They're
So
leveraging.
we stay tuned.
Please,
When we're able to talk more about the OnePlus 11, we will have lots of thoughts to share about
we
the
will not
OnePlus
shut
11.
up. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to just keep
But
talking.
what we can sort of briefly discuss, again, if you're interested in the semiconductor industry, and I'm sure some folks in this chat are of that mind, where we've been talking about gaming handhelds and peripherals and performance and all this stuff. We have been spending some time with the iQOO 11.
Yes.
And the iQOO 11 is a Vivo, is under the sub brand of Vivo. It's sort of a cousin of the OnePlus 11, and genuinely like one of the first phones to sport the 8 Gen 2, and it's been an absolute screamer. I just want to throw the personal back patting, because Qualcomm reached out to me about using some of my quotes from my performance review. And somehow I made the thumbnail. So I'm the thumbnail of the Snapdragon PR video talking about the 8 Gen 2 in the iQOO 11. I would just like to
Congrats,
point
man.
out. No, I'm tickled because there's an incredible group of reviewers in this video. There's Tech Chap, Tech Tab. Oh, it's right here. It's on the video. Techspert, Tech Tablets, Carl Conrad, GSM Arena, Lim Reviews, and the Tech Chat Chap, and some gadget guy. But I would like to highlight they picked two of the most confrontational quotes kind of out of context from my videos where I'm calling out Google and I'm calling out Apple. To me it is very funny because like they're promoting the 8 Gen 2 and they're not. It's not Qualcomm. To me, this feels like Qualcomm's going out there and saying, we're not saying that this is better than the iPhone chip, but this guy's saying it's better than the iPhone chip. And they're just kind of gently shoving me out into traffic. They're not shoving me directly under a bus, but they're just kind of loosely nudging me out into like a bike lane.
Yeah.
So I was very honored to be a part of this roundup, and it was Techspert has some really funny quotes in there too. But I don't know what your experiences have been, or if you're going to be following up with another video soon. We are in for such a good year on this high performance hardware. Who else just recently? I want to say, was it Geeker One?
Mm-hmm.
I think they just did their like rip the back off of a phone and actually chart like the electrical power draw of components as they're doing their testing.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah. No, I
Yeah,
didn't see that one yet, but
the 8 Gen 2 is a startlingly good refresh from where we were at the beginning of last year. The beginning of last year, I was having those kind of breathing through my teeth moments of like, man, I can demonstrate some incredible performance, but boy howdy am I demonstrating great performance at kind of unreasonable battery power draw. And that means a lot of wasted heat, and that means that you have to be very specific about where you can point to these performance gains, because it's not across the board. It's not just like when we went from the 855 to the 865, everything got better except the radio performance. But all of the compute power and GPU power, everything was a step up. Then we got to the 888 and we had to be a little bit more selective, but it was generally an improvement over the 865. And then we got to the 8 Gen 1, and there were times where I could beat the 8 Gen 1 with an 865, depending on how I structured the test.
well, it also depends on the manufacturer. Yeah, and I think
And it depended on the manufacturer, absolutely, because it was easier to totally tank a test on a Samsung than it was on any other manufacturer. Again, I have to point out Samsung is not getting it done, but that's not the point of this right now because we're talking about the good stuff.
No, absolutely. So congratulations for being, I would say, sampled. In this, it's in this beautiful remix of an 8 Gen 2, and I think that the reality is the conversation again is still in its infancy. The 8 Gen 2 was announced in November. We finally start some devices from iQOO and I think Vivo with the X90 Pro Plus
end of December.
Yeah, no, I got a chance to play with the X90 Pro Plus, not in a benchmarking way, but more so like a photography. And then of course the iQOO just seriously, it is a monster of a gaming phone. I mean, realistically, and I'm so the biggest thing I would probably say is stay tuned. There's more conversations coming up. Again, congratulations for getting picked up on that one. I think this is very good, and it is. The iQOO is absolutely an amazing device for what it offers, and I can barely hope, I at least hope that the OnePlus 11, gets the same recognition, because technically it's going to be one of the first devices to carry the 8 Gen 2 in the U.S. market. So that's going to be the biggest difference. I mean, Samsung obviously will announce it on the first, and then of course Qualcomm. I mean, we already knew it has the 8 Gen 2 on the OnePlus 11. This is not. There's no secret about what processors in that device. But yeah, it is exciting to see Juan putting in some good stuff. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
So I want to see real quick if I can find. I just want to show it, not play it. But if it's still on glowing rectangles.
Right there.
Okay. Yeah. Here's Geeker One. Am I saying that right? I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Geeker One. Geekerwan. Anyway, they've got this video, and I'm showing it on screen, but again, for anyone who's also listening, A16 versus Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, who's the best performance, who's the best smartphone chip? I'd love for folks to kind of give this video a few more views also. Their structure is really leaning into the kind of conversation that I'm enjoying, where it's not just outright performance. It's not, hey, we ran a Geekbench and an Antutu, and then to see thermal throttling, we ran Geekbench over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and then the phone got hot. This is a lot more structured towards that performance per watt conversation. I'm wrapping up Surface Pro 9. There's a big conversation to be had about performance per watt. Not outright performance. There it loses to Intel Surface Pros. But you talk about what it can do within a certain power envelope and not requiring a fan to cool it is extremely, to me, that is so much more exciting than just, I have unlimited power, but I also need, unlimited battery to achieve that unlimited power. So this video does, I think, a very good job. Yeah, I'm lugging around one of those crate batteries from Anker.
The 767.
Yeah, exactly. It's got wheels on it.
Yeah.
It's totally portable.
Totally.
That's hilarious. So check this out. A16 versus Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, who's the best smartphone chip. And man, this was not a good year for Apple to kind of fumble their improvements. So going from the A15 to the A16 wasn't really a great jump for them, where we've seen maybe one of the single best leaps in performance and power efficiency that Qualcomm has ever accomplished. I mean, this is stunning improvement year over year. I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like this before. And the more I'm using the iQOO 11, the more my personal sort of anecdotal experiences are lining up with Geekerwan style of commentary on performance per watt. And that's really exciting to see. It's not just, I'm rendering videos on my phone and no one else seems to be talking about this type of performance. This is pretty clearly demonstrated in a number of disciplines. It's not just gaming, it's not just CPU compute, it's not just AI or machine learning hardware. Literally everyone who's digging into the 8 Gen 2 is finding something to talk about where it's like, oh, this is a big deal. This is a big change from where we were before.
Absolutely, and I'm excited. I'll definitely make sure to check that out tomorrow morning. I'll put that on my list. I think it's exciting to see that the conversation of saying, well, Apple's always better kind of conversation is starting, that it's not there anymore. We're starting to see, the bridge is, they're basically kind of like a plane, they're almost leveling it, but to a certain point, I feel like, you're starting to get too complacent. And I think that's what the biggest thing, I think we're realizing it year over year. You reach the top and you're like, so where do I go? You're supposed to keep innovating. You're supposed to keep bringing new things, not just etch every year by little by little by little.
And even if it were just refining, if you are a power user, which I don't want to be snarky about iPhones, because I believe there are people who really do try to drive their Apple phones as hard as we try to drive our Android phones. But that means driving a device to the upper limits of what the hardware can accomplish. And in that tier, it looks like Apple is suffering from some of the design evolution that we suffered from on the 8 Gen 1.
Yeah.
If you try to drive the A16 to its upper limit, you're talking about a chip that's starting to draw like 12 watts of power in a little phone case. That is too much for an iPhone battery to handle.
Yep.
And it's not, Apple doesn't play with all of those more exotic internal hardware components that help with thermal regulation. We've been playing with it more because we've had 2 years of smartphone chips that, man, they run pretty hot. So now we've all got all of that benefit, So even if an A16 is more efficient in kind of a daily driver task situation,
Hmm.
why are you spending $1,000 for daily driver task situations? You want to drive it a little bit further. And once
Yeah.
you start pushing to those upper limits, we're seeing more consistent performance now on the Android side. If you wanted to drive an iPhone hard, the A15 seems to achieve a better overall performance envelope.
Oh,
It is
okay.
less powerful than the A16, but it doesn't throttle as hard. And Apple did this before. It's like almost every other year now, you've got a chip that fixes the problems of the previous, and then the
Hmm.
next chip introduces new thermal concerns. So they're falling into the same kinds of cycles and same kinds of traps that Qualcomm and MediaTek and Samsung especially have fallen into in the past.
Oh
There
yeah.
is no indomitability of Apple Silicon anymore. They really need to look at how their chip design is being managed right now, because I think more of their resources and more of their focus and attention are going to the M series,
Oh,
and I
absolutely.
think the A series is starting to suffer.
And I think the biggest thing, I'm almost tempted to say that it maybe this is their way of saying that at some point we will see an iPhone with an M, with an M1 maybe, or something like a mini, like an M1 mini or something to the effect where,
Maybe.
because they already have it in the iPad. Obviously, it's not like they're not thinking about it, and something that's more portable than a MacBook, basically, or maybe a Mac Mini. I will say though, of all the things, the Mac Mini with the M2 Pro, I think was the one that got me more excited, mostly because of the form factor. And I'm an
Hmm.
old Mini kind of a fan, but um, it's exciting to see where we are. And I think the biggest thing that we also have to appreciate is that you're right, we are a little bit ahead of where Apple is, but I think at the end of the day, to a certain point now, we can take the equation, take the CPU speed out of the equation. It can bring it down to optimization, application
Yeah.
support, developer support. Windows on ARM. I mean, you were talking about the Pro 9 5G. I'm finishing up my stuff on this as well because my time with this is done. I need to be back in the box and go back
Did you
to my.
did you get the email that you need to send it back? I just got the
Yeah,
email. I need to
I got
send it back.
I got the email and I got the label, my friend. So yes, my days are numbered. But I will say that it has been a pleasure. Yeah, I mean, and mine is still. I haven't reset mine. I'm
I'm
assuming
doing it
yours.
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So same here. What I'll say is, I have traveled with this device to different states, a different country.
Hmm.
I've used this in the mobile setting that I feel like it was intended to be used in. This is not in the video I kind of make a specific point of that. I say, look, this is not the most powerful Surface Pro 9 that was released. This is the most
Mm-mm.
flexible and
Hmm.
the one with the better battery life, the one that you want to be able to take with you on the go. And I cited a specific case for me as I was going to Qualcomm Summit. I was standing in line we were boarding at the time. And I got an
Hmm.
email from my office, my day job, sent me an email. They're saying, hey, we need you to do something for us. It literally took me less than 20 seconds to take the Pro 9 out of the bag, open it up. It was already on 5G, open Chrome, start
Yep.
doing what I needed to do as I was walking to the airplane. I got on
So
the
good.
airplane. Josh was sitting to my left and Jaime was sitting the seat in front of me and my wife. And I'm sitting there finishing work on my laptop. That is the exact presence of what makes this
No,
device.
TK, I mean, it's not even a big deal because you can like tether your phone.
Yeah.
So you could
And try
just like
try
open
doing
your
all the other
laptop
gymnastics in
and
your hands,
no,
standing in
no, see,
line
it's
with
not worth
everybody.
it because, I have a phone plan that has like a cap on how much I can tether my data, and no one needs to have their own tablet plan when you can just tether your phone.
It
And
is.
all you need to do is sit down with a laptop and
Yeah,
take out
sit
your
down.
phone and turn on the hotspot, and then
Yes.
tell your laptop to, and the laptop will auto connect after you put in your Wi-Fi password once. And so then you just need to hold the laptop with one hand and then hold your tethering phone with the other hand, and then use your third hand to operate the laptop so that you can work while you're walking around. And then with your fourth hand, you can hold your luggage. So, like, it's not worth it. And
No.
no one should ever buy anything that I can't use the way I want to use it, it shouldn't exist because I don't have enough imagination to think that other people exist with different concerns than mine.
It is obviously meant.
Facts.
The fault
It's
is
just
on my
facts,
side. Yeah,
TK. It's
no,
just facts, TK. TK, it's just
facts.
facts.
It is facts. And the fact is that it was epic for me as I was trying to get on the plane and having literally not even a few minutes before we started, basically being crammed into it. But no, seriously, it's been a pleasure, and it's a sad day. Friday will be a sad Friday
Yeah.
for me to put back piece of hardware back in it. But of all the things that did come out of it, I was happy that we at least got a live stream done with it. We were able to do one of
Yeah.
our live streams from it when I was in Maui. And it is fun. I don't want to say it is fun to use.
It's really
and,
fun.
and it has a place. It's weird. I didn't think it needed, I didn't think I had a spot for this type of hardware, but I went to CES. I didn't take my laptop with me. I took the Surface Pro 9 when I went to CES.
Same thing.
And that's what
I went to a MediaTek conference.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
With a Qualcomm powered Surface is my main writing and communication machine.
Yeah.
I wasn't walking around with it at the event, but it was in my hotel room.
That would be like,
and I would get back and I would do everything that I needed to do on that.
I think MediaTek would be like, get that guy a MediaTek powered device. That would be.
I mean, I'm trying to talk. I'm hoping to chat with Acer soon about some of those new Chromebook chips, but I think that's the thing for me that really lit me up. I've got it's in early access now on patreon.com/somegadgetguy. It's like a 20-minute video of me just wrapping up my last performance tests and some of the sort of higher leveler philosophy of what I think is interesting about this Surface. Because I think you need to start with the Surface is already a niche device.
It is.
Because it's not a huge unit volume seller for the Windows ecosystem.
It's a trendsetter.
So a Surface Pro is already a very specific kind of conversation, and it's already a very niche consumer who's already going to be interested in a PC tablet experience. So I think it's okay that we have a flavor of that that's more performance oriented, and I think we have a flavor of that that's more portability oriented, because right now we kind of can't have both. We kind of can't make the high performance, ultra long lived battery life 5G enabled Surface. We can't make it the unicorn product. So we do need to kind of pick and choose what flavor of the Surface we're really going for. And for me, that really lit up as soon as I started comparing it more directly against iPads and Galaxy tabs. And if the only comparison you can work in your brain is Surface Pro 9 Intel versus Surface Pro 9 SQ3, I think you're missing the entire market of people who are looking at 5G enabled Galaxy tabs and 5G enabled iPad Pros. And those people don't get the benefits of a full-fledged computer operating system on Android and iPad OS.
Yeah.
And so there are obviously some performance concerns. You definitely need to know what sort of horsepower envelope will get your work done. But increasingly, the more I use the Surface Pro 9, the less I cared about it being a high performance tablet. The more I was thinking yeah, I've got my heavy duty workstation at home. I could log into it remotely if I absolutely needed to do that kind of work on the go, and reasonably in areas where I've got at least good LTE. And then what would I use a Galaxy tab for that I wouldn't be able to do better on the Surface Pro 9? Because my testing, my wrap-up testing was focused a lot on x86 apps, Android apps, and Linux software.
Sure. Yeah.
So in one box, in one slate, I've got a Windows machine, which handles x86 programs through an emulation layer, handles Windows apps like Clipchamp directly, and they're very well optimized for the SQ3 those apps directly, and I could sideload and use the Amazon App Store to load Android apps. And if you load Android apps, this is a more powerful Android tablet than a Galaxy Tab S8. And I've got support for not only Ubuntu, but Ubuntu with all of the ARM libraries. So I'm sitting there and I load Affinity because I really like Affinity as like photo editing software. And I do this in the video. I'm spoiling my whole video here, but I'm actually so tickled that this worked. And you click launch on Affinity and it takes like 30 seconds to launch Affinity. It is real pokey. I couldn't do the entire installation to first launch in the video, but I haven't speed ramped it. I installed GIMP
Oh, okay.
through Linux, not through Windows. It's not the Windows build of GIMP. It's the Linux build of GIMP. And the first time I launched it, it launched faster than any Windows laptop I've ever installed GIMP on. The Linux flavor of GIMP
Okay.
was a screamer. Then I loaded up Kden Live, and you're like, man, I can't video edit in DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve doesn't support this SOC.
But it doesn't run. Yeah.
But it fails to run. And you're like, Linux video editing software totally installs and works on this slate. There is no one product that is anywhere near as flexible. There are plenty of products that are more powerful, but I have not found the flexibility, the workflow, the full support for the Windows operating system. It's not like Windows RT. This is like Windows 11. It feels like any other Windows 11. Exactly. And I can do Android. And I'm already on Android 13. The Windows subsystem for Android is now ahead of most of the Android market for getting an update to Android 13. And I'm running Ubuntu all in one machine without having to like dual boot or reset or do anything else. It's like I install GIMP, I install Kden Live, and they're just in my app drawer alongside all of my other Windows apps, alongside all of my other Android apps. It's just all right there. Nothing else is like this. I've never seen anything else like this before.
One of the big things I also appreciate about it is the flexibility, being able to go with eSIM and a regular SIM. I recently did a video with a company where they were doing did eSIM service, so basically data service packet, and is as cheap as like $3 or $5, whatever you want to travel with it. So it truly is one of the more functional, like Maverick type of an experience, and that's why, like I said, I didn't think I would appreciate it at the time. I was more interested to see how the performance was on the SQ3 or the 8CX Gen 3. And it truly surprised me on every level. It's not going to win any awards for power performance, but it definitely will win awards for battery life. It's no fan. It's basically air cooled. There's no moving parts in this. It's kind of like a smartphone, but it runs a full version.
It's a tablet.
And it runs Microsoft Office tools. I mean, if you want to use this to manage things and be on the go, a student that wants to basically be able to get content, their homework done, their research done, run things in Chrome, run things, play games, even if you want to be able to sit there and enjoy your time. Yeah. So it has been so flexible. This is why I'm excited about it. And I can't wait to see what next generation with, I think it was Orion's going to be bringing into us. And I think, like you said, it's a niche product. Not everybody's going to go pick up the Pro 9 5G, but I think whoever needs that, I need to be connected and I still need that functioning system that gives me long battery life. There's going to be some people that pick it up, and I think it'll make sense, but we'll have to see. 2023 is still, again, at the beginning, and we're definitely, enjoying Qualcomm, not Qualcomm, but essentially Microsoft's flavor of Qualcomm's SoC. Sorry.
And I think just kind of the idea to, as we say goodbye, and we're sort of both oddly a little emotional about saying goodbye to our Surface Pro 9s.
It's always hard. When
I'm gonna miss it, right?
Yeah, I am. I already miss it.
I feel like this is, to me, like the fact that I feel like I'm gonna miss this tablet. I feel pretty confident in making a broader recommendation. If you were shopping a premium tablet,
Oh,
Like if you
true.
were interested in tablet computing, you were looking at an iPad Pro 5G or a Galaxy Tab S 5G, this is a very this is a very positive recommendation
Hmm.
to check out an SQ3 Surface, because you're really gonna not pay more than you think you will. Like an iPad Pro 5G or a Galaxy Tab 5G and a Surface SQ3 are all roughly in a similar price bracket.
If you think about it,
And
yeah.
I would lean a little bit more iPad if you really wanted to use video editing software like DaVinci Resolve.
Hmm.
I would lean a little bit more Galaxy Tab if you wanted that Ultra with the really pretty OLED.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
That to
definitely.
me, that's a solid purchasing recommendation, and I feel like Dex can get you most of the way to a Windows style experience. But if you really wanted to get Office, document, portability, that kind of work done on a tablet, I think the Surface takes it, and you'll end up with a more powerful device than a Galaxy Tab and a less powerful device than an iPad, but you'll end up with the more functional operating system
Yep.
for you to choose any kind of workflow that you want to choose. So that just spoiled my whole video. It's in early access on patreon.com/somegadgetguy. But I definitely wanted to spend a little time just before we finally kind of wrap all this up, because
Yeah.
you got a video out on a really fun
Finally.
action camera.
A
That's
video
finally
that
live.
a
And
video that you helped quite a bit
no, it's Kate.
in
I thought the
helping
video
me.
came out great. I thought it
Yeah.
looked awesome. So
No, I had I'll say that I had the most amount of fun putting together the content for this video, because the camera itself just makes it so that you have to have fun with it. You have to go out, you have to do things with it. It does work at home. I
hmm
mean, you can record things at home, but to truly get the function and the glamour that the Insta360 X3 does offer, you need to go out. And Juan and I had a chance to play around a little bit, and I actually got a chance to ride the Velotrek.
Velotrek.
Velotrek. Thank you. I was going to say Velotrek, but Velotrek. The bikes, and we had an opportunity to spend some time, actually just even grab a bite with Juan. And then I even had the chance to test out some of the other things that you could do with it. There's some pre-built functions where you're able to even do that whole the jump cut between, like,
hmm
you take three walking paths for about 40 seconds, and the software does everything for you, which is really what drives me crazy, is how simple and how automated they've done the functionalities in here, and make it so good. And if you really want to take it to the next level, they have the desktop software, and they also have Premiere integration into Premiere Pro, so you can export and edit your content straight in, and then just produce it straight off of the Insta360. You never download anything. You connect it over USB, and you're editing the content off of the device. So
That's cool.
it was, to me, it was so much fun. And yes, I can't wait to try that bike again. Juan and I just had a chance to play around, and the perspectives, the views, the camera, the quality of the camera in good lighting, it absolutely is crazy. Like, you could see that, like, I'm not even doing anything. I'm setting the waypoint. The transitions are beautiful. And it was tons of fun, and I can't wait to, again, hopefully you guys get a chance to check it out. It's a great camera. It's their latest, the X3. There's an X2 edition. There's other generations, of course.
Yeah, I had an
And
older. Yeah, I had an Insta 360 one.
yeah.
So that
Yeah, it's right there. See, look. We did drone mode with
drone
Juan right there.
mode.
That was like Juan was looking at me, and I'm like holding the kit like a long stick. I was like making sure that it doesn't fall. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And then you're always recording everything, which is also very nice. So you never,
Yeah.
like, if you think, oh, I forgot to, I was pointing the camera to Juan, but I wanted to show something on my, like, no, dude, just flip it around. And that's what you're getting there. You get the beautiful scenery. See, I mean, it was an overcast day, so we had a lot of naturally
Really nice,
diffused
soft,
light.
pretty light. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't realize the video was going to be that long when I was editing it, but then I realized, like, yeah, there is that much, and there was more. There are other things I didn't do. I didn't get a chance to do the 8K time lapse, and
Oh yeah.
there is that. Yeah, because it just, we had bad weather. It was raining for most of the time, and by the time it kind of
Yeah.
like cooled down, we had a chance to play around, and then it was trying to get things. I mean,
I
I'll
was in
say
the same
this.
boat.
I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm happy I got the video out, and thanks again to the folks over at Insta360 for hooking it up with all of the goodies. Seriously, this is going with me on every single trip I go. It brings so many options, so many things to do. It's hard to miss, so it's nice. Especially, I love the one that you have where you hold the stick behind you, and it looks like there's the GTA mode, the top down view. So
Yeah.
you're like.
Dur, 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 dur.
This is
Oh no,
TK.
police.
Oh no, turn around. So that was fun in that video. Yeah, I got a chance to drop that video. I think it was yesterday, and hopefully this weekend I'll be putting out the Surface Pro 9, my review of the Surface Pro 9 5G, and then early next week, hopefully the iQOO. I'm trying to, in a certain way, I'm trying to wrap up some of my stuff to put space for all the cool stuff that's coming up, in the beginning of February. So hopefully we'll have
Few
some good
things
content
coming
there.
out, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
more and more things too. I got my accreditation for MWC. I'm trying to figure out how to get there,
Nice.
but we'll see. Hopefully I can.
That's great.
Hopefully we'll have something from I was going to say Berlin, but no, it's Barcelona, different part of the country, the world.
Well, a little different. I mean, it's Europe, so whatever. You know,
It's a
it's
different
all
time zone.
EU zone.
EU.
So, do you have anything coming out tomorrow, or wrapping up the weekend, or are you just looking at getting some of these projects out for next week?
So hopefully the Surface Pro 9 this weekend. I'm shooting for the Surface Pro 9 this weekend. If it's not, then it'll be Monday, but then the iQOO is next to it. So I think that's my cue for the next couple of videos.
Nice.
The Surface Pro 9, because I'm not going to have it anymore, so I won't be able to do much, but that's my tomorrow. Kind of get everything set up and done, and then at the end of the day, pack it and ship it away. Sad. It's weird that it also kind of coming up on a Friday for me, which is like, can I like I wanted to reach back and say, can we do it Monday? But then like there's just never an end date. There's never
No,
a good
it's
end date. Yeah.
fine.
If you try, you should just stick to it. And
And at that point, it's also too like I probably could have shot this before I was just really using it,
but that's
and then I just
that's the
needed to
thing.
finish the video. So
A lot of the weird thing is in the last few months, I've had it show up in many videos. Like just not only just playing Xbox Game Pass, but like I did the video with those two dual displays, the ZBECs
yeah,
that you're able to add. I was actually using it on the Surface Pro 9. I connected it to one as an external display, and I ran the second display as a DeX display for my Z Fold 4. So I truly like scary level of multitasking, multiple ecosystems running. But it was really fun to push the limit with that, and also external displays. I think you also you played with that as well on yours.
yeah.
It's easy. So
it's just kind of weird. Like you plug in an extra display, and then you just use as many apps as you want, and you don't have to worry about it only supporting 8 apps at a time. And it has its own calculator, so you don't have to go and get another calculator app. It's just included. It's just weird.
Windows.
You would think that iPad OS would be more powerful than that.
It's sometimes I'll say that the logic behind how iPad is today still confuses me to a certain point in
Big time.
the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
And I also think the people at Apple are also confused because that's how the products are coming out. But we'll have to say though, I'll say this from a tablet point of view, as you said, I think the Surface Pro 9 5G offers a very unique experience that can definitely be a solution to many people. And same with the iPad. I think the iPad has a certain level of experience, especially for editing, as you said. DaVinci definitely support there. Now that they have support for Apple M series, I would love them to bring into, bring it over to ARM, get us some love.
Yeah.
Other than just, I think was it Photoshop that we got right now, Adobe. So I want to see more.
Yeah.
I want to see more.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you're wrapping up yours and I'm wrapping up mine.
That was total coincidence.
Yeah. Again, it's
like
kind of think
never-
off the same brain like that, which is hilarious. But mine is going to go, I think it's going to go public Saturday. Friday, I'm going to be spending all day trying to catch up. I've got this cool little dash cam install that I want to do on our car. And so I'm going to spend a little time trying to get like not only just get the dash cam installed, but kind of shoot a little video of what that process is like. And I'm hoping that'll be a video that goes out next week. And then I'm looking at doing another sort of not tutorial, but one of these kind of tech talky videos talking about older point and shoot cameras. Because that's been kind of a theme or a fad for some folks that are really interested in sort of that social media influencer style of photography. And it's been really cool seeing a bunch of people latch on to older point and shoot cameras. But if you wanted to, you could get some of that photo aesthetic on your phone.
Yeah.
So really what I think this is I think this is a backlash against how many processing decisions our phones make with this HDR style of photography. And if someone wants their photos to stand out, they're going to the auto mode on like old Canon power shots. But you don't have to leave the phone if you'd like to process the photo like an old Canon power shot. You just don't need to shoot auto HDR. Absolutely. So I've got a video that I've kind of written out the script and I'm collecting some samples just to show it off. And really it's been a fun photo challenge. Is can you make your phone camera look like a different kind of camera in how the finished image comes out? So I'm hoping that'll be out next week.
That's good. That's good. I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. I think it'll be interesting to be able to try different camera experiences as we, I mean, I'm finishing up the iQOO 11. I'm gonna try to take some more pictures this weekend for again.
Because the camera's pretty solid.
It is.
It's not a Vivo. It's not an X series, but it's pretty good.
For me right now, it's been primarily living in the main sensor. I think that's what I've enjoyed the most.
Oh yeah, same.
Where with the low light, with the V2 chip processing on there, definitely you could see the
super good
the legwork that it's done there. But yeah, having played with the X90 Pro Plus, I'm like
yeah,
I know, it is.
Well, good deal.
Said,
we got some fun stuff coming out. It'll be good.
Tons.
I like it.
Tons. And then within a couple of weeks, we'll be able to talk about certain things. You know what I mean? It is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what I mean. I don't know what you're talking about either. But with that being said, I do want to say first and foremost, thank you to everybody for hanging out with us, kicking it with us on this beautiful Thursday night. The 26th of January, we're literally 5 days left in this month. I mean, can't believe, we're already moving so fast. February is going to be a busy month. I hope you guys will hang with us. Make sure to check out all the show notes for links to not only myself, but also Juan Carlos, as well as, his Patreon, and some of the stuff that he was talking about was also going to be showing there as well. You get early access to it before the rest of the world does. Make sure to catch him again on Monday with the SGGQA, his podcast that comes up live. And then we'll be back for another episode of the best of our week, which I'm sure we're going to have a lot of Sammy conversations because it's going to be shortly after that announcement. So we'll see how that kind of goes from there.
I really hope it's fun.
I hope so too. I hope so. Look, with everything we're saying, I'm hoping whatever they put out on the first kind of gets us excited for what
tune back in, because hopefully we'll have, and even if it's not, if it's cranky stuff to talk about, we'll have some cranky stuff to talk about.
It'll be a great show either way. So anyway, hope you guys have a great evening, have fun, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.